Hello, beautiful people. How are you all doing today? What's up? Keck, wait, normal wake-up time? I woke up like 4 or 5 hours ago. Same shirts, true. Very clearly the same color. You are right. You're so right. I should have paid attention. Oops. I'm playing Papa's Cheeseria. That's interesting. Alright, so... Oh, shit! Chat, I don't know when the last time this happened was. Holy shit. Holy. Hog? Thank you for the prime, Ethereal. Surely not another Arlecchino day? Yeah, sorry about that. It is what it is. You know what they say.
The pleasure is
How's your Glad looking? My Glad's looking alright. It's not the greatest, but it's also pretty good, and like... I'm gonna farm for her set anyways, so... You know.
The tides beckon. Bow your head.
Did I just... I'm sorry. Did I just... What? I just charge attacked while frozen. No? I'm very confused. Alright. Gee. True.
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine.
I remember when the
Be
Golden
sure
Cup
to befriend them.
meant something.
Cause them no harm.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Have there been any confirmed Arlecchino changes? Nothing any more confirmed than yesterday. We should get more confirmation. Oh, it's out on Hakushin? Wait, really? Oh god. So it's real?
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
Okay. So, it's basically just a straight buff then. right? Because the 297 was actually somehow real. Which I did not expect. I thought it was fake as fuck. Okay. So... I'm confused. Wait, it's 70, not... Wait, what?
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of
So it's not 80, it's 70.
Be sure to befriend them and cause them no harm.
Energy calls 3. Yeah, that looks a little wrong. Do we have any footage? Yeah, because if we look at the post I talked about yesterday, right? They don't actually mention the number buff. But yeah, okay, so the real question, right, is if you use your E, you use your burst, you charge attack, you use your E, and you charge attack again, does it stack? Can you get 160 bond of life? Or I guess 140, because you're actually only getting 70, not 80. That 80 leak was fake. Alright, the 40, 60, 80, that's fake. It's just 40 or 70. Resets the limit? Yeah, but that wording doesn't actually mean anything. Because, like, it could mean, right? Because based on this, right, based on this, your limit would be 80%, right? Which would mean that if it doesn't reset anything, right? You use it, you get 70. Use it again, you go to 80, not 140, right? But it could also mean you use it. So when you say that it resets, you're saying that you remove that limit of 80, but is it actually, or is it actually getting removed? Because you could also think, because she can only get 80% after using her skill. Maybe, like, if you're at 40, you already gained 70, but you just have 40 left. Without it resetting, you'd only be able to get 10 more, right? And maybe the reset is, okay, you can get up to 80 again, but still no higher than 80, right? Which is why I'm like, I'm unsure about this. Right, so it's a bit unclear to me if it's gonna cap you at 80 or not. Either way, Huh. Either way, it's interesting. I'm intrigued by the meaning of the new C1. Mask of the Red Death. What is that? Oh, yeah, that is unclear as fuck. What the hell? Yeah, no clue. Hmm. Increase it 297 by 120. This reads as increase it to 120. Which would be not an increase. Which is why I'm a little bit confused. Like maybe it's increased by 120%. Maybe it's plus 120 to the ratio. Maybe I don't know, man. So, yeah. Okay, so taking a look at this, assuming no reset, you should still be able to get 80. So it's a slight buff. And it could be a sizable buff. Wow, that is sizable. If it actually stacks, it's a very sizable buff. Which is why I feel like it's not gonna stack. Or like, realistically, you're probably doing like 70 here, and then this plus 70 here, right? But that's like a fucking 40% DPS increase. Right? Like, I feel like that's not gonna be happening. Right? Like, there's no way it stacks. It's way too big of a buff if it stacks.
Water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue.
Not that I'd complain, but like
in Inazuma, the water.
I've talked about this before. I've been hurt before, okay? I've learned not to be optimistic anymore for stuff like this.
But it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
All right, let me go give the Twitter people an update. I tweeted about this yesterday. Changes are on Hakushin now. A few of these were wrong. Seems to be pretty much strictly a buff now, but the amount by which it's a buff depends on whether it can stack or not, which we should know later today or tomorrow.
I see the value in my own work, but I also see
Okay,
the
business.
all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
It's not Arlecching over. Although, wait, you know what? I just realized. Does anyone have... Can you look at change list on Hakushin? You could, I know you can do it on Amber, but I don't know if you can do it on Hakushin. On the sidebar? Where? Like diff? Okay. All right, it seems like all the other numbers are the same. I just needed to double check that.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste.
No, they're not.
Inazuma, the water possesses
The E damage has also been increased
any other.
for the bleed.
Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile.
No,
But
it has been
savored
decreased.
patiently to fully appreciate it.
Instead of every... No, okay. Okay, it's been kept basically the same, but instead of hitting every 3 seconds, it now hits every 5 seconds. And deals a little bit more damage to make up for that.
I see the value in my own work, but I also...
And then burst. I mean, this is not going to be... This isn't updated yet. Okay. If 160% bond of life turns out... Okay, 160% bond of life isn't happening because you can't get 80 from your E, right? You can get 70 from your E, which would mean that 160... It wouldn't be 160, it would be 140%. But... Oh, yeah. That being said, this is, like, the most changes a unit has gotten in beta, so assume nothing is locked in yet. Why not 80? Because you get 70 from using your E, and then you get 70 from using a second E. How are you getting more?
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from...
Then they increased it to 80? No, that was not true.
In Inazuma,
At least that's not what it says on Hakushin.
Flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate.
It's 40, 60, 80 now. See, you say that, but then we look at the change list on Hakushin, and that is nowhere to be found. Maybe you're right, but that's very clearly not the case in this version, which is the one I'm looking at, and the one I'm assuming is the most reliable out of the ones we've had so far. It might not be. If 140% Bond of Life turns out to be true, will she be an upgrade to my hyper-invested Hu Tao, Farina, Shanyon, and Yelan teams? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into it again, for sure. Why did they change her so much? Probably because beta testers were very unsatisfied with her kit, which doesn't surprise me. If I was a beta tester, I would have been unsatisfied as well.
see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine. I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Alright, chat. Does her E have particle ICD? We don't know yet. Can't wait. It will be great once we know. Surely she won't.
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to befriend them and cause them no harm.
Okay, chat. Now the real question is, how viable would TF be? That's the real question. So you could do 3 E's per rotation instead of 2. Right? Agreed?
Be sanctified.
That's what we need to know. That's what we really need to find out. What? Why can't it be crit damage main stat and crit rate substat instead? Can I even use this on anyone? I'm gonna roll it just so you guys can laugh at me now and get it out of your system for the rest of the day. How's that? Roll flat defense, flat attack. That's fine. That works too. Roll flat attack. Roll some more flat attack. Not flat attack. What the hell? Whatever. It's not good. Thank you. How do you have no artifact XP? I just don't have any artifact XP. Okay, something feels off. I don't know what, but something. I don't know. Yeah, I feel a lot better today, Ravel. Add Zajef77 behind you. I'm not looking.
Strike a pose. Let my name echo it.
Wind strike. Stabilize.
The tides beckon.
Bow your head.
I hope you're ready, chat. Wow. That's crazy.
Settle.
Yoo-hoo! Let the world collide.
Gather. The wind knows it.
Be sanctified.
Wind strike.
The Zajef77 is my favorite YouTuber. I used to watch his videos all the time back in the 80s. True. That's me. Now that her percentage got increased to 297, how much will it impact her damage overall? Assuming that her bond can't stack, it's a very minor buff. Assuming that it can stack, it's a pretty big buff.
Stabilize.
Let the mighty be humbled.
Wind strike.
Wow.
Bow your head.
Strike a pose. Let the world collide.
Be sanctified. Silence.
Your name, Jeff. You know, my name is not actually Jeff. It's a good guess, though. I can respect it. My name is Zajef. 23-year-old Genshin streamers still build his characters the old-fashioned way. I'm not 23. I'm 24.
The tides beckon.
Please.
Bow your head.
Do you feel old? Every day when I wake up. I wake up one day closer to my death. How's that for feeling old? Every single day, I wake up and I'm one day closer to my death. You're the same age as Ionix? I'm a little bit older. Like, 6 months or something, 7 months ish. I don't know why, but it's so weird to think that I'm 2 years older than you. It's because I give off such a mature, kind, fatherly vibe. It's true. Fatherly Arlecchino, true!
Settle.
Shower me with
Please update your age in your Twitter bio. Fine. It has been updated. There you go. You can't just EQCA anymore for a cheap bond because you have to wait 5 seconds for the 70. No, you can still get 40 if you don't wait. It starts at 40 and then it goes to 70 if you wait.
Bow your head.
Can we make a Hu Tao a standardized unit of measurement for all future units? I think so, yes. I think we can. If we really put our mind to it, I think we can. No, this okay. This is just the commission. Is Yoimiya 0.8 Hu Tao divided by n, where n is equal to the enemy number? Kinda, yeah. Sure. No. She's a slightly undersized Hu Tao. Not especially so, just slightly. I wouldn't call her a small Hu Tao per se, but like, so you guys know how Ziox is like half an inch shorter than me? Right? I'm 4'11", he's 4'10 and a half. It's kind of like that. No, he's shorter. He's not. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. He's 5'10". Sorry, he's 4'10" and a half. On a good day. He does wear heels though. So maybe he was wearing them last time we height checked. That's very possible. I can't quite discard that possibility just yet. We're gonna have to keep it in consideration. Adsley? I don't wanna! What are you gonna do if I don't, huh? You gonna cry? Are you gonna beg? I don't care! I will not be swayed by your begging. We will riot? No, you won't. You're a Twitch chat. I can just say balls and every single one of you will forget what I'm talking about. It's like... You can't organize if you're this easily distracted. You saw how they reduced the amount of encounter points you can get from events? I did not see that. Interesting, I guess. Which artifacts should I play on Chevreuse with Arlecchino, Bennett on Noblesse, and Fischl? Probably Exile, question mark? Either that or just a 2-piece with, like, focus on damage. But, like, nothing is gonna be, like, great. It's just gonna be like, oh, okay. I guess. Song if you level talents. I'm assuming it's because we're going at it with the assumption that Song of Days Past won't work. Because you're not healing, right? That healing that doesn't end up going to anyone because Arlecchino is immune to healing may not count towards Song of Days Past. And if that's the case, then it won't be a good set for her. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Doesn't C6 Sugars count? Yeah, but C6 Sugars does something at the same time as it heals, right? It doesn't buff you based on the amount that was healed. Right, you could argue she does get healed, it's just for 0. With Song of Days Past, if that's what's happening in the back end, well, okay, you healed for 0, so you're gonna buff for 0. Right? Isn't it crazy that I actually am basically gonna be ready? Not quite, because there's a new boss. But, like, I've actually pre-farmed for a character. I feel like it's been a while since the last time I pre-farmed for a character. Isn't that crazy? Now, the thing is, I'm gonna have to start pre-farming for Chevreuse soon, won't I? Man. You pre-farmed Gaming? You're right, actually. I did. He's still like a month away. Man, don't tell me that. Don't remind me of how much time there is to Questjef. Questjef is already tired of questing, okay? Sorry. Okay. Just start exploring? No. I'm good. Alright, chat. Let's talk some more about Arlecchino. What? I kind of just... I don't... So much of the stuff I want to do and I want to look at is going to depend incredibly heavily on whether she can stack or not.
But I also see.
But I feel like there's no way she can stack because it's too big of a buff, no?
I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
Like... Like, she would be a very large Hu Tao. Indeed. Right, because, like, pre-changes, right? You had your bar so you could get to 85. Shut up, restart to install the latest Windows update. I don't need the latest Windows update. You're gonna fucking try to get me to download Windows 11. No one wants Windows 11. It's ugly and cringe. Let me stay on Windows 10. Fuck you. Windows 11 is okay. You're naive and stupid. It's not okay. You just have Stockholm syndrome. You got used to it. You fell in love with your captive. Anyways, right? Actual normal attack multipliers haven't changed. You used to be able to start at 85, and it was 238. Assuming the changes are real, right? And you're 297. If you're now able to start at 140 instead, or more realistically, right? You probably do EQ, then you charge attack, you start attacking for a little bit. Or sorry, you charge attack, you E, and then you start attacking for a little bit, and then you charge attack again. Right? You have to wait 5 seconds. Like, most likely, it's kicking in at the start of your second N5, maybe. This is a pretty big buff. 40% DPS increase. Oh, that's not exactly true, right? Because this is just the normal attack stuff. Then you have... 240. This plus 240.4 plus 26.7 plus 38.2 times 2 plus... Or for now, we're just gonna assume the burst hasn't changed because, well, it's bugged, so... Yeah. Now you get 2 E's. And you get, what is it, 57.2? And 2, yeah. Like, that's still a pretty solid, almost 40% DPS increase. Do you adjust the bond of life consumption? Yes, this is 5.5, this is... Right. Minus 5.5, minus 6.5. That's why I struggle to believe that it stacks. Because it feels like it's too big of a buff. And they don't usually do buffs this big, right? If it sets it to 80% instead, it's a 20% buff. Right? Half the buff, still pretty big. A lot more in line with the stuff they've done before. Even then, it's still one of the bigger buffs we've seen, for sure. Once we get nerfed to the ground next week, yeah, I feel like this is very likely to get nerfed next week. Because she was already good. If it is a 40% buff... Oh boy. When you say stack, do you mean she can get up to 160 amount of life so the e-description says it can stack? Again, I've talked... I'm tired of repeating myself. I'll say it one last time, okay? Yes, it can be interpreted to mean that. But Hoyo has a history of having misleading descriptions to try to bait you into thinking interactions work when they don't. And so I am not trusting it to actually work like it should based on the wording. You're right that it should based on the wording. I'm not trusting it until I see some footage. We got some news. No particle ICD and C1 is Mask of Red Death times 1.2, not plus 1.2. Ooh. No particle ICD is huge. And times 1.2 is interesting. Yeah, so just in terms of DPS, oops. About a 10% increase from C0. So it's definitely a nerf to C1 then. Right? Yeah, but now it gives IR, that's true. But for the damage, it's a nerf. Okay. Okay. So Plunge Arlecchino isn't real anymore? I mean, it's still real, right? Because they didn't nerf Plunge Arlecchino. If anything, they buffed Plunge Arlecchino. But they buffed it less than they buffed her actual normal playstyles.
Can we play Banker next time?
But yeah, we can... Okay, let's actually go through the list of these changes, okay? Right? So, first off, right? The actual amount of Bond of Life was changed, right? Before, assuming you let it cook for 6 seconds, you would get a 70% Bond of Life, right? From absorbing a level 3 directive. Right, so your base resource bar would start at 70%. That is still the case, but now, if you don't let it cook, you get 40 instead of 20 or 25. And it's 5 seconds instead of 6. But for all intents and purposes, for optimal rotations, this part hasn't really changed, okay? However, the ways in which you can gain the Bond of Life has changed. Now, you still get it from doing your charge attack after using your E. However, your E does not consume whatever was left of your Bond of Life anymore. Now, your burst does. On top of that, your burst also resets your E cooldown. So, you'll be able to do EQ, it'll reset your E cooldown, wait 5 seconds, do a charge attack, use another E. Right? And then 5 seconds later, you can do another charge attack and consume that second Bond of Life. I think Q doesn't consume Bond of Life anymore. It has to. It's probably just missing from the description.
Can we play Banker next time?
It probably just... Bond of Life prevents you from healing, so... If your burst is healing you, it will clear the Bond of Life by design.
They
Right?
are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to befriend them and cause them no
Like, it is
harm.
going to clear the Bond of Life no matter what. Anyways. Right? So, now you may be able to get effectively 2 times the 70% Bond of Life. Now, this says that you can get 80% per skill, and that it lasts for 35 seconds, and reusing your skill resets this, right? However, Hoyo wording is often very misleading, and it's very possible that the limit isn't 80% gained per elemental skill, it's 80% total per elemental skill, which would cap you at 80%, right? I hope, I mean, I kind of hope it's not. But just keep in mind that it's a very real possibility until we get some footage that they're trying to pull a fast one on us. Anyways, right? If it can't stack, it's still a buff. But for now, let's take a look at what happens if it can stack, right? So what else has changed? Well, the number of her buff based on her Bond of Life has been increased relatively substantially, right? It went from 238 to 297.5, which is 25% higher.
I see the value in my own work. But
In exchange for that, you now consume more Bond of Life per attack, right? If that had been the only change, It would have been a slight buff. However, you consume more, which means you'll run out earlier, right? But they've also made it so that her lower limit to get her buff isn't 30% bond of life anymore, it's 20. All of this to say, overall, this is a pretty big buff. It gives her some flexibility for longer rotations, to have basically 2 uptime periods, right? A split uptime rotation is going to work with her, a lot like some people do with Hytham teams. But even if that's not what you're doing, if it can stack, even for shorter rotation teams, this is still going to be somewhat nice. However, the cooldown change may pose a problem, potentially, right? So they changed her E cooldown from 15 to 30, and now, based on how often you attack, its cooldown gets reduced. However, what's important to keep in mind is that she
while water from Liyue
resets her skill cooldown when she uses her E.
The water possesses a depth of flavor.
And so if you're using E,
Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has
waiting 5 seconds for it to cook,
but it must be savored
Q,
to fully appreciate.
charge attack, E, right? That's at the very least a solid 8 seconds between your 2 E's that you have to add onto your E cooldown because, well, this cooldown here is effectively not there, but you're gonna need between this and the next one of these, right? Between your second E and your first E on the next rotation, that's where the cooldown matters. And so that's effectively an 8 seconds at least of added cooldown in here, right? And so effectively the base cooldown isn't 30 seconds, it's 38, maybe more seconds. Now, when you attack,
I see the value
you reduce that cooldown
but I also
by
see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Von
0.8 seconds.
I believe I will continue to take pride in fulfilling my duties.
That means your base 38-second cooldown at best. And again, right? I think in most teams it's going to be at least 40, right? You're going to have to use, if you want to make a 20-second rotation, for example, well, this minus 20 divided by 0.8. At least 22 attacks. That takes a long time, right? That's more than 3 N6s. Can you actually fit this many attacks in a 20-second rotations? I'm not sure. It's going to depend on the team. I think some teams won't be able to. And so the cooldown increase can actually matter for some teams. Because your buffs are going to run out, but if you don't keep attacking, your cooldown is too long. And even if you do keep attacking, you're extending your rotation, right? I think letting it cook for 3 seconds will be better than 6 seconds for the first E. That's not how it works, Liquid Cheese. That leak was wrong. It's not 40, 60, 80. It's 40, 70. There's only 2 levels now, and it goes from level 1 to 2 after 5 seconds. You can't half let it cook. You're either getting 40 or 70.
Water comes in
Unless these leaks are wrong, which is possible, but at this point I kind of can't be bothered saying that every time I say something, man.
Water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other.
But yeah, stuff like this is gonna make itself felt a lot more against mobile enemies that don't stay in a state where you can hit them for a while. If you've ever played a team that generates a lot of energy through its rotation, rather than front-loaded at the start of it, you'll know how annoying it can be when you're fighting Ruined Serpent, when you're fighting Winot, where you sometimes just run out of energy and you can't get your particles back.
They are the pride of
Right?
Fontaine. Be sure to
Because
befriend them.
they're just moving away.
Cause them no harm.
This is going to be a very similar thing with her cooldowns. Right? Because you use your E, right? It goes on the cooldown, but this first cooldown doesn't matter. You go to your setup for at least 5 seconds. That's not necessarily true. You can probably do this in less than 8 seconds, right?
Water comes in
Like, you
many
can
flavors
probably-
to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water
If you have a short setup,
while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste.
yeah, because you don't need to wait 5 seconds before you use Q. You need to wait 5 seconds before the charge attack. Okay, so
has a rich
okay, 36-ish. That's a bit more doable, right?
must be savored patiently to full.
But like, you use your E, you do your setup, you use your Q, you go back to her, you charge attack, and then you use your E. That's at least 6 seconds, because the 5 seconds plus the charge attack animation plus the E animation. In most cases, it's going to be more than that. But for now, let's look at best case scenario, right? This is time equals 0. What you're doing, whatever. Right? And then this doesn't matter, and this happens at best at 6 seconds. Right? And then you have your E cooldown, which starts at 30 here, right? Then you normal attack, let's say 2 N6, and then N3. Or 2 N6 and then N4, right? Which is, what, 14, 19 hits? It's gonna take you... It's gonna take you more than 10 seconds, won't it? Wait, don't I have frames somewhere? I think I do. Might be on this very sheet. Oh. Yeah, I do. Okay, yeah, it's 10 seconds. Assuming you don't have to cancel anything. 10 seconds. Right? Which sheet was I? Okay. Alright, so your time is now at 16 seconds, right? Because you attacked for 10 seconds. And then your E cooldown, well, 10 seconds shorter. And then you have the 19 hits times 0.8. So it's 4.8 seconds. And then maybe you have other things you need to refresh, you need to battery, whatever, right? Then you're already looking at some potential problem where your minimum rotation is going to be at least 21 seconds, right? So you'll have effectively to stay on field for longer. So you see it for the second E? Yeah, you do. So it's like 2 N6 into, or I guess it's N6C, N6, N4. Something like that, right? And then it'd be 17 instead of 16, and then that's even more, right? The thing is, I think that's kind of optimistic for the setup, right? Do you actually have time in 6 seconds to use her E, 3 of your units' ults and skills, and then her burst, which is almost 3 seconds by itself, right? It's like 2.5. And then a charge attack. No, you don't, right? Some teams, maybe if you have supports that take like no time at all, or if you have supports that can go before her E. 1.95 seconds burst. Really? When I looked at the frames, maybe I looked at some fucking slowed down footage. Because the frames I looked at were like 220 something. Either way, right? Basically every 5-star burst animation, if you include ping lag from what it takes to swap to them, is at least 2 seconds, plus their skill. I think that generally you're not looking at 6 seconds, you're looking at 8 to 10, like I said earlier, right? And if it is 8, right? Okay, cool. This plus 11. Then this minus 11. Yeah, whatever. Already, your minimum rotation length is starting to go 23-ish, right? Point being, right? Some teams are going to be made not impossible, but their performance will be significantly worsened by these changes because the setup is too long for the E cooldown reset to actually refund enough cooldown for you to for it not to extend your rotation, right? On top of that, yeah, getting staggered in a team like this means that your E cooldown will be longer because you're attacking for less time, right? Because your buffs are still running out after the same amount of time, but now, once your buffs have run out, you have to keep attacking because you need to refund your cooldown, right? Now, I'm not saying this because, wow, these are nerfs, can't unplayable, you know. It's just, these are irrelevant things that are important to keep in mind when you're looking at her, right? And when you're looking at the impact of these changes. They should make the E cooldown 25 seconds. I don't know. It would make her stronger, but I kind of like this. Because what this does effectively, right, is it rewards shorter cooldown units, or sorry, shorter animation units, and it rewards units that work well with long rotations. Official? Beto? Listen, I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man. I truly am a simple man. Would you lose using only one E? Well, mainly 4 pyro particles and a lot of motion value. You could do only one E in some teams, right? But if you're doing that, then the changes are basically just a nerf, right? Well, yeah, kinda, right? Because before the changes, you could get 85 from EQ. Right, you were 85, 238. And now you'll be at 298, 70, 93.5, 94.5. But yeah, right, so if that's what you're doing, then these changes are a nerf. It'll still work. Why do you queue in the middle of the rotation and not at the end, since it's just for healing? I mean, technically, it kind of is the end. Like, you can do... There's no meaningful difference between this and this, right? And this start of your rotation is the same thing. Like, you're doing that at the end of your rotation as well to start your next rotation, right? It's like you could look at it as, yeah, it's at the end of your rotation. Like, it kind of is. You know? 13 sheets? Shut up. I don't want to talk about it. Frick you. Didn't you get the Bond of Life during the setup? No, you get your Bond of Life from consuming your mark when you do your charge attack, which is why you're doing the charge attack after the Q.
Can we play Banger next time?
The conclusion is that she is nerfed? No, that is quite clearly the opposite of what I've been saying for like an hour. What happens if the enemies die to other sources of damage like Shanling before she can pop up the mark? That's what this passive is for. Right? This passive, when defeating an opponent with a directive, Arlecchino will be granted a Bond of Life worth 70% of her max HP. Right? You consume the directive when you charge attack. So this only applies if you kill enemy during your setup, right? Anywhere between this and this, right? Because this applies it, this consumes it. Then this applies it, and this consumes it, right? Do you agree with the Pyro Hytham allegations from Mr. Stern? Yeah, I think she's... The changes made her a lot more similar to Hytham in terms of how her rotations work. Instead of it being like a split uptime stuff with one ult and one skill, it's both with the skill, but the ult gives you a reset on the skill. But yeah, it's somewhat similar. Beto de Toma, any other good defensive options? I don't think Toma and Day are good defensive options. Especially if she doesn't get Particle ICD on her E. They're just not good. Like, all they offer is defensive options, which... like, it's fine. Especially because, you know, with these changes, she's stronger. so she's, I guess, less reliant on having an optimal team. But you're really looking for a defensive option that also does offensive things, right? If you're playing with shovelers and your elements are limited, Beto's probably going to be your best option. And if you're not playing with shovelers, Xingqiu is going to be your best option. He tried playing double Electro Deluxe shovelers to simulate the rotation. It was pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, Deluxe tracking is not great. Why not EQ charge attack, E setup charge attack normal attacks? You only lose 1 of life. You can get buffs right before normal attacks for a longer string. That wouldn't work per se, but you could split your setup in 2. Right, you could do setup part 1. Because if you just EQ charge attack, your E won't have cooked, right?
Melusines are beautiful creatures. They are the pride.
You do your E, you do your Q, you do the charge attack, it hasn't cooked, you're not going to get the enhanced bond of life, you're going to get 40% instead of 70, right? That's why your setup wants to be going here. But if you have long setups, you could make a very strong argument for E, setup part 1, Q charge attack, E, setup part 2, charge attack, and then a bunch of normal attacks. Right, like, for example...
I see the value in my own work, but I also see the meaning in all the endeavors of the people of Fontaine.
I don't know. What would be an example of a team that would want to do that, even? I don't know. Wouldn't you want to get the bond of life before queuing? Your first rotation, you don't need to heal. It is the beginning of the fight. You haven't taken damage, hopefully. Yeah, official chevreuse. E on her. EQ on chevreuse. Eon official.
Beautiful creatures. They are the pride of Fontaine. Be sure to be friendly.
Q charge attack.
And cause them no harm.
Oh yeah, official first. It doesn't matter. Sure. Q charge attack. E. Beto. EQ. It's not 5 seconds. With Yai, sure. Yeah. Yeah, you could definitely do something like that. That's a good point. For teams with longer setups, you can definitely split the setup. And maybe this won't actually be a problem.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste.
Could you split some of the normal attack after the second skill to make sure you don't get max? Make sure you get max debt both times? What do you mean? Split some of the normal attacks after the second skill.
Savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
What about 2 targets? What about 2 targets? Set up EQE on 2 targets? Yeah, you could. I guess. Hmm.
Banker next time?
Well, that's assuming it actually works and you actually get double the bond of life when there's 2 targets. Oh boy. Area of E is pretty big. Yeah, oh no, I'm not doubting you're gonna apply the mark to multiple enemies. I'm just wondering if consuming a mark from multiple enemies actually gives you multiple bonds. Well, let's hope so. Is it now reduced Bennett dependence a big white tassel nerf? Kinda. Look at it this way. White tassel isn't doing less damage. She just got a bigger buff to other weapons. But yeah. Yeah, it is. It'd be very cringe if it didn't. I agree. Does more Bond of Life mean Bennett better? More Bond of Life doesn't mean anything when it comes to Bennett. It's her rotations encouraging you to do longer rotations with potentially split uptime. Makes Bennett worse because Bennett's buff lasts for like 14 seconds. And very often you want to use it very early into your rotation. So you're only going to have a few seconds of uptime. Usually something like 7-ish seconds, maybe 8. It'll depend on how long your setup is. But because you're usually not swapping from Bennett directly to her, right? You generally have like 7-8 seconds of uptime on him. And if she's staying on field for, 15, 16 seconds, then that's, not quite as good. Current Q wording seems to imply you no longer get healing based on bond of life eaten and just get 300% attack heal. Yeah, maybe, but I feel like that's fake. Like, I feel like it still clears a bond of life before you get healed for a portion, a value based on it. Maybe not. Who knows? Can't wait to see the footage. It'll be Pog. Yeah, isn't Mask of the Red Death a story by Edgar Allan Poe? Any literature majors that can tell me if there's other literary references in the rest of her kit? I wish I could read. Yeah, that's fair. 666. Oh, okay, I mean, I know that one. I think they just thought it sounded cool. Chat. Chat. What if it's a what if it's a story spoiler? Because I've never read Mask of the Red Death, but I have watched the Netflix show that's based on Poe's work. What was it called? Fall of House of Usher. Alright, it was a banger. But isn't... It wasn't? Yes, it was. It was a good show. I personally thought it was better than Bly Manor. It was okay. I thought it was great, but hey, whatever. To each their own. Anyways, but Mask of the Red Death is about, like, rich people locking themselves in a place while everyone else is dying from the plague or some shit. And then someone comes in and just points at them and they die. Like, haha, you can't hide from me. I am the Red Death. Got him. Right? Oh, was it famine, not plague? Yeah, my bad. Whatever. Alright, it's like, frick you for... Maybe it's a reference to her trying to assassinate Farina? But I feel like it's too far-fetched, you know? Right, like, the Mask of the Red Death isn't a story about revenge, really, right? It's about comeuppance. I don't know, I feel like... there's something here. Or maybe they're just yapping. They're probably just yapping. But I'm sensing... No, I don't know, man. She kills a noble that took Lynette, maybe that? Again, like, it's not about... It's not really about that, you know? Let's look at the wiki page for the Mask of the Red Death. Right? Prospero and his court are indifferent to the sufferings of the population at large. They intend to await the end of the plague in luxury and safety behind the walls of their secure refuge, having wielded the doors shut to ensure no one enters or leaves, right? Like, that's what it's about, right? Like, these motherfuckers got what was coming to them, right? Thank you, Wrathful. But like, who could this be, right? Like, there hasn't been an instance for where Arlecchino was really in opposition, in direct opposition to someone who was behaving like this, right? The old knave? Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. Hmm. Man, I I don't like this because it reminds me of that fucking scene in the fall of the House of Usher. And if you've watched it, you know the scene, man. It was slightly uncomfortable. Ever so slightly uncomfortable. Which one? They were all pretty weird. I mean, the one related to the Red Death. The Mask of the Red Death, right? The People Soup? Please don't call it that. Please don't call it that. Please don't call it that. Please don't call it a people soup. Please don't call it that. I want to talk about it because it's such a vivid image, So I want to talk about it. So spoilers for the Fall of the House of Usher if you haven't seen it. I do encourage going in blind if you want to watch it, but I want to talk about it. So yeah. Anyway, spoiler warning. So there's. The story is effectively about. It's a modern retelling of a lot of the work of Edgar Allan Poe, where it follows a rich family, and each of the children in the family is named after generally a protagonist in one of Edgar Allan Poe's stories, and their ultimate fate is inspired by the story they're from, right? And I'm definitely not going to get into the spoilers for the end of the show, because I like the mystery. The mystery part is very pog. But I will spoil the twist of one episode, so there's your warning, right? Anyways, Prospero, the rich, rebellious playboy kid of the family, probably like 19, 20, I don't remember how old he is, but he's like the youngest one. He basically organizes a party, and he tries to set up a system so that like all the sprinklers go off, and make everyone wet in the middle of his basically the orgy party. Anyways, he does all of this without asking anyone in his family or warning anyone, and the water that he connects the sprinklers to is chemical waste from an illegal chemical thing that the family was doing. And so they, you know, they start dancing, woohoo, cool, and then the sprinklers turn on, and people soup. there's a people soup. And I'm someone who generally watches things like half-assed. Like, I watch things while I'm playing something, generally. And the foreshadowing for that scene was, like, perfect for second monitor content. Like, it was probably a bit too obvious if it's your first monitor content, but it was perfect if it's second monitor content. But anyway, it was... Man, it was... What's people soup? Well, a soup is, you know, generally liquid and not solid. There's chunks of solid in there sometimes, but it's mainly liquid, right? The chemical waste made the people soup. Anyways, why were they having the orgy party? Prospero wanted to... Each of the children of the House of Usher got, like, a pretty big loan from their father, but only if they had, like, an actual good business idea. And Prospero's trying to get his good business idea so he can get the well, it's not a loan, right? It's just a bunch of money to start up a business. And his idea is basically just very horny nightclub. But only for very rich people. Right? Like, it's very much, you know, a luxury, supposed to be a luxurious and safe place for rich people only. You know? And, yeah. It was rich people soup? Yeah. Maybe it's not people soup, but, like, people soup, but you get the point. Anyways. That's a good point, Ali. Maybe it is supposed to refer to Farina and how Arlecchino perceived her as not actually doing anything. And hiding out in the comfort of her rich palace. I don't know, man. Maybe. But I feel like, what's the point of that, right? Because we've already seen that. Like, what's the point of a reference to something we've already seen? And, like, references like this should be used to foreshadow upcoming things, not to tell you, hey, remember that thing that already happened in the story? In my opinion, I just feel like it's a bit on the nose if that's what it is, right? Like, I agree with you that it fits very well, but I just feel like it's so boring if that's what it is, right? But maybe it's a misdirect, right? Maybe it's a red herring. Mask of the Red Herring. Could Prospero's party be the Harbingers because Chala and Scaramouche say she's two-faced or will end up betraying them? Could be. It could be. Maybe she is a double agent. I feel like the story's been set up for us to fight each of the Harbingers individually, though. Not just for Arlecchino. Like, Arlecchino doesn't feel like a main character that's gonna be given main character things. I would love to be pleasantly surprised, because I think that would be an amazing twist. Right? If they actually built up the Fatui and, like, how dangerous they are, just for Arlecchino to fucking murder all of them. But I don't think that's... I doubt it. I don't think they have the balls for that. You probably can't beat some of them. Bro! But what if she just gives them, like, Tevat cancer? It's not about beating them in a fight. She has their trust. She can poison them. She can make them sick. That's what the Red Death is, you know? That's why I think it would be such a cool twist. Right? There's the foreshadowings right here. You know? Yeah, she probably couldn't fucking take them all in a fight. But anyone can poison someone to death. You know? Anyways. She has blood powers, just give them AIDS? Alright, calm down, buddy. Calm down, buddy. Why are we talking about the Red Death and her? Because her normal attack infusion, or her normal attack special thing is called Mask of the Red Death. I cast leukemia. Damn, bro. That's fucked up. Sure, we can add pause business. That's a good one. Your constellation have references names? Yes, but I don't know what they're references to. I think they're references to operas. The book has numerous references. What book? What book are you speaking of? Multiple references to the Blood Moon and Depths Ode, something also found in Arlecchino's Kid, as well as the use of the word baleful. New books in Fontaine Shop? Oh, I see. It has so much yappin'. I love yappin'. Oh, sorry. It has so much lore. Lore and yappin'. Same thing, really. How much average bond do we assume for weapon counts and comparisons now? Did that change? It's gonna depend. Gonna depend on whether it stacks or not, and I'm still not sure about that. If it does, it's all. I mean, it's also gonna depend on your combo, but I'll be looking at. Average 75. Assuming it stacks. Ugh. Quick question, if I plan to play Wesley... Who the fuck is Wesley? With double Pyro, the fourth should be Viridescent Animal or Sing So. Struggle with this decision. Oh, Risley. If you really want to play double Pyro, last one. I mean, you can do Animo. Animo's gonna give you grouping. Hydro's generally gonna be better though. His setups are a pain in the ass. And I see your Neuvillette build. Sure. He'd be on this, but I only have one of those, so it's on Hu Tao. This is my good piece. This is deceptively good. This one isn't. Think of the same. On one hand, Sing So's broken, on the other hand, VV is broken too. Yeah. You can even use Farina if you don't want the defensive utility. Show us your most broken character build. My most build character is my Hu Tao. Eight good rolls. 9 good rolls, even though the attack rolls are like worth 2/3, but still, that's basically 8 good rolls at least. Again, basically 8 good rolls. Again, basically 9 good rolls. This one's my worst piece. So overall,
Silly churl, Billy
510 EM.
Silly Billy, Hilly churl.
You really are a true hater. His best built character is his most hated character. Who does not my most hated character? And I don't actually hate her, you know? Like, the whole... Like, did I Triple Crown her just so I could compare her to Shang Ling? Yes.
Can we play banker next?
But I'm not gonna triple crown a unit that I'm just don't play at all, right? Like, fuck that, you know? I don't actually hate her, I just... Yeah, it's more of a petty annoyance than a hatred thing. Exactly. How much do your charge attacks and plunge vapes hit with that build? We can take a look. What team you want me to look at? Oh, you want me to... Do you want me to look at the big one? I can do the big one. The fake-ass team that doesn't actually exist, but we can probably do one plunge attack. I don't even know if the plunge attack is gonna vape, but hey, it'll be fun. Maybe I can even let myself get hit enough that I'm under 50%. Actually, no. I'll just do it at Primova Shop.
Go!
Please be Pyro Res? Fuck you.
Huh?
It will be? No, it won't. This game sucks. Whatever, man.
Let the world collide!
Seize the skies! Teamwork is dreamwork! Huh?
So. Nice little hit. How much was that? 200k. It's not a real team, though. You get one plunge attack and then your aura's gone.
Shower me with praise!
Okay. I'll be right back.
The secrets of the mechanical arts are too profound to convey in a few simple words. Oh, but why must the listener grow weary whenever I begin to divulge them?
I'm back, chat. Cease your activities, mods, if you would kindly. Oh, I forgot to be under 50% HP. Fuck. wasn't in the box! I'm gonna be honest, I did not know it could hit outside the box, but that's fine. I was not aware. I was not a knower. Please don't be pyro again. Oh, he hasn't respawned yet. Oops. How long? 40 seconds? How? Yeah, whatever. Ah, we can just see it on this, honestly.
Adventure time.
Time to shine. Yoo-hoo!
Make way for the
Everybody stand back.
huh? Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Let's light it up.
I didn't get it. Fudge. Or it didn't work. I had to wait longer. It's fine. Blood Blossom? It wasn't even Blood Blossom. I'm just untalented and bad at video games. Also stupid and an idiot. Hide him? Thank you. Thank you for hiding him. Wouldn't have found him without you.
Huh? This isn't good.
Okay. Also, yeah, how is it the pyro one again? Hello?
Let the world collide.
Stray clouds converge.
Teamwork is dreamwork.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Bro, how? Whatever, man.
Let's light it up.
I'll actually let me just kill him real quick. Is the charge attack necessary? Why not just jump? Good point. It isn't necessary. Oh, it hasn't respawned. Whatever. Close your eyes. Trust me, you don't want to see this part. Where do I even go? Oh wait, I can go here, no? Eh. Yeah, I can. No, that's not a good idea. Oh, it'll be fine. Just gotta wait for it to do his first thing, because it goes like in... Wait, no, that it doesn't do it in here. It only does it in a... Oh, I don't have...
Huh? Yeah.
Time to shine. Shower me with. I'm going in. Let's light it up.
What? How did it not... Something went wrong there. What the fuck? Whatever. I give up. Why did it apply Hydro 3 times in quick succession like that? That's not supposed to happen. I'm just confused. Like, straight up, I am very confused. Alright, chat. let's see if we can fork outlet ourselves on the way. I don't think so. Man. Maybe actually here. There might be an opportunity here. If I go like here. Yes. Okay. Nice. Oh, it's on cooldown. Fuck.
Let my name echo in song. Strike. Make way for the everybody. Stand back. Huh?
Hmm. Not bad. 265k. That's pretty cool. That's what I can do. Okay-ish business. But more realistically,
Let's go get ourselves.
alright, Primovishav, you better not fucking stagger me out of my first jump, okay? And no, don't be Pyro. Thank you. Hydro's fine.
Let the world come alive.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Yeah. Skyward. Seize the skies.
I don't want to talk about it. This unit without Singso does not feel fun to play, dude. It's fine. It's okay. Everything is fine. Oh. Sounds like skill issue? Oh, it is. Bro is hitting higher numbers than me with Homa. Skill issue, I think.
Let my name echo in song.
Quietly.
Oh, fuck off.
Here comes the catch. Yeah. Skyward. Stray clouds converge.
Oh, my aura. It left. My aura. Punch. Chad, did he quest today? Not yet. But the day is young. Do you have 300 ER on Farina? Should be 284.9. Yeah, I kind of want to look at this. Does she really need that much? Definitely not. Oh, Pug, we are now at 304.9. Huge.
Settle down.
Clouds high.
That's definitely not the right weapon.
Solidify. Be sanctified. Silence.
Wind strider. Fallen leaves.
Adorn order.
I'll do this because I kind of can't be bothered.
Bow your head. The tides beckon.
Enjoy. Did I scare you? Banquet must one with nature.
Oh, fuck off. Oh, fuck
Settle
off.
down. Gather. Let the mighty be humbled.
Okay. For the trial doing 1 talent level and hydro resonance.
Busted. These are about to get dicey. Make way for the
Time to go.
I'll just kill it with Farina and this. Almost 1 rotation, yeah. Probably could 1 rotation it if my Farina's build was normal. But I'm not interested in normal builds.
Bow your
They are cringe.
wind strike.
And honestly,
stabilize.
quite I'm stuck, okay. I was gonna say quite shameful before I got stuck.
Tides beckon. Settle down. This is order.
Why did I do that?
Tidal wave. Clouds high. The bird.
Bow your head. Be sanctified.
Into the wind.
Ooh,
Silence.
that does a lot of damage.
Solidify. Settle down.
Grouper child, yes sir. That's why he's on the team. True.
Strike a pose. Let my name echo in song.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Stray clouds converge.
Oh my god, it fucking dodged.
Higher, higher, hands on fire.
Really?
Shower me with praise.
Whatever, man. That's fine, it's gonna come to me, right?
Things are about to get dicey. No.
Where is it? Hello? Oh my... It didn't come to me. Unlucky. Now it's gonna leave, right? Now that I'm finally on it? Yep. Wait, no. Ah, that was fucking terrible. We got bad RNG, it is what it is. It happens. It happens.
Bow your head. Let the mighty be humbled. Silence.
Why did I do that? I don't have any balls.
Bow your head. Be sanctified. Go down.
Wind strider.
Gather. Silence.
Give me the energy. Nice. How did that last one hit me? Any explainers in shot? Oh, fuck off.
Let the world collide!
Here comes the catch. Skyward! Stray cloud converge.
See? This isn't good.
I love playing with Yolon. I love getting vapes. I'm getting so many vapes. That was great.
Let my name echo in song.
Huge fan.
Game's up. Time's over.
Let the
Hold
world
up.
Yeah. Seize the skies.
Whatever, man. I hate playing this team with Yolon, dude. Oh my god, I fucking hate it. How many vapes did I even get in total? Like 3? Whatever. I'm playing it with Yolon next time. $500 EM surely useful? Shut up. Does Yolon have less Hydro App than Singtel? At melee range, she has like half the Hydro App.
Peace prevails throughout the land, and all things are made new, as buds in the spring. This is an auspicious era for humanity. If you are presently unoccupied, perhaps we could stop a while at one's abode for some repose and conversation.
You talked about the Arlecchino changes. Yes, but I'd rather talk about them again than Quest. So, what questions do you have? How are we feeling about these nice Arlecchino buffs? If we're following actual wording, it feels like they're too good to be true. And usually that's because they are. I'm not a believer. I'm a doubter. I feel like some of this shit is like either worded in a misleading way or just fake. Because it's too good to be true. Or she'll get Omega nerfed next Monday. So yeah. Hmm.
The secrets of the mechanical arts are too profound to convey in a few simple words. Oh, but why must the listener grow weary whenever I begin to divulge them?
Assuming 140? Not kinda, yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Peace prevails throughout the land, and all things are made new.
Did your opinion on her weapon banner change at all, or does it still depend on the other weapons on the banner? I don't think it's changed much, no. What was the opinion? I might consider going for it if the rest of the banner is also good. If it has Fab on it.
Skyward, scatter! Yeah, skyward, scatter!
What if it has Zyphos? Nope. That Zyphos is cringe and not Pog. To be fair, Zyphos would be nice because maybe I could use it on Kazuha so that my Fab can be more used on other characters. It's just like every single fucking time I use my Kazuha's burst, I notice that he's on a different wrong weapon because I put the Fab on someone else. Like, it's just so cringe, okay? I hate it. I hate it so much. I really do. It sucks and I hate it. You don't know what it's like, okay? If you have Fabs, you don't know what it's like. Is Fab on the Chronicled banner? I mean, technically, yes.
Being too popular can be such a hassle. Who knew the people would adore me so much? Tea parties are a must for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn
Chat!
proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Bro's just sitting there menacingly. I'm internalizing the Arlecchino changes, okay? I'm internalizing. I'm learning. I'm lurking in the shadows. Waiting. Watching. Menacingly. Do you think Arlecchino Kit was developed in a hurry since you received so many changes during beta? I just think that the initial kit design was a little off. Maybe it was because it was in a hurry. I don't think so. But I don't think so. I don't know. But they were too ambitious? I don't think I'd say that. Her V1 kit was pretty boring. It's very much the opposite of ambitious. It's basically just press E, get infusion. But instead of lasting for a certain amount of time, it lasts for a certain amount of hits. Right? Like, that's it. That's her kit. Right? Like, that was her V1. Now at her V3, it's press E, get infusion twice. I think mainly her power level at V1 was just too low, which made a lot of the feedback more negative, right? Kind of like how what's a good okay, kind of like how people don't complain about Yelan's breakthrough barb damage being kind of shit because they just don't use it, right? Like a unit having some design things that are scuffed doesn't matter if the unit is good enough that it feels good to use if you ignore that part of their kit, right? Yelan's breakthrough barbs is a design failure, in my opinion, right? Because most people just don't use it. And it just... It can be nice for overworlds sometimes, but like... But people don't complain about how shit her breakthrough barb is because she's good without you using it, right? Whereas you look at a similar aspect of a unit who isn't good, right? So... I mean, Daya, right? Daya's HP scaling on burst, right? People complain about it. Not because it's there, not because it's split scaling, but because the scaling isn't good, so it feels bad to use her burst. Right? Like... People don't complain about Zhongli's burst not doing enough damage, right? Theory crafters will tell you that it's not really worth using. but someone playing the game won't feel like, oh, Zhongli's burst does nothing. I hate using it. Even though it's not a very good ability, right? Because Zhongli as a unit as a whole is good outside of his burst. It's one of those things where, like, once a unit is good enough, their weaknesses start to get overlooked. And V1 Arlecchino wasn't really good enough for her design flaws to be overlooked, so people noticed them and they gave feedback on it. Whereas usually I feel like they often don't. Still don't understand why they made Daya this bad, even for a standard, she's dog shit. I don't think that's necessarily true. Like, the reality is that there are a handful of teams where Daya is a good defensive option. Right? Like, Daya is a much more valuable unit to have than Chi-Chi, for example. But they want standard units to be bad. At the very least, to feel bad to some extent. Because if you can be completely satisfied just with a standard unit, why would you pull for the shiniest new unit? Why would you pull for limited characters? Except Tighnari? Tighnari feels like shit to use whenever you're fighting something that isn't single target. He's good in single target. But I'm never using him on an AoE chamber. Right? What about Kutsing? Kutsing's teams aren't even fucking Kutsing carrying, right? It's just Fischl. It's just Fischl Kazuha. You know, like it's yeah, kinda, but like not really. Anyways, if losing your 50-50 that had really good chances of giving you good characters that you want, it wouldn't feel like losing 50-50. And they want it to feel like losing 50-50. Because that's how they get you to be like, oh shit, I ran out of primos, I got to pity, but I lost my 50-50. Right, that disappointment is used to... They can monetize your disappointment and your frustration. Right? So they don't want the standard units to be too good. Mona is great. I would find myself in heavy disagreement with that statement. I think now Mona might be the second worst standard character. After Chi-Chi. Like, obviously Chi-Chi is the worst one. I think you can make an argument for Mona, Daya, or Diluc. Because as much as Diluc has actual good teams now, he's not really that necessary for those teams. And those teams are reliant on multiple other limited 5 stars. So just getting a Diluc when you're starting the game, he's gonna be dog shit for you, right? So it's like, yeah. Hey, like, I wouldn't put him as the second worst one, but I would think it's reasonable if that's what the way you're looking at it, right? By that logic, Jean is dog shit too. Eh. a lot of early players don't have Kaza. Having a VV at all is useful. Having a VV that consolidates healing is fine. Jean isn't valuable to an account like mine that already has everything else, but she can be nice to get early on, right? I don't think that argument can really be made for Diluc. Those clothes look so bad. Yes, they do. I'm aware. For an early account, you'd rather use Sayu? Definitely not. Sayu is the kind of character that you think is good if you don't use Sayu. Like, on paper, she looks so alright, and then you play her and it feels so terrible. Why is Sayu bad? It's not that she's bad, she's just incredibly clunky. She can be nice for exploration, though, that's true. What if you assume that all of them are played in their best teams? Okay. Chi-Chi would be worse than Mona. Day is hard to rank because her best team is a really good team and arguably better than, like, Kutsing than Jean's best teams. Well, maybe not Jean. Like, very arguably better than Kutsing's best team, but she's also not a significant portion of the team. Like, she's a nice synergistic defensive option, but she's not amazing for the team, right? So it's like probably between Daya and Kutsing. Nah, probably Daya, then Diluc. I'm going, like, ascending, like, worst to best. Yeah, Daya, then Diluc. Daya, then Kutsing, then Diluc. Then Tifnari, then Jean. Probably. The thing is, Jean isn't even necessarily the best option for the team where she's best, right? Right, like, if I'm forced to put a standard character in my team, the strongest team I can make is probably Neuvillette, Jean, Farina, Zhongli, right? But Jean isn't even necessarily the best option in that team, right? So it's like, yeah, but no, but yeah, but no. Like, it's yeah. You end up playing Kutsing the most from these? I don't actually play Kutsing that often anymore. Unironically, the standard character I play the most often is Daya. By a pretty large margin. Who improves the most with C6? Daya improves the most. but her constellations don't improve her as a defensive option, they improve her as a carry, and she's such a dogshit carry to begin with that I don't know if she's actually the best standard carry at C6. I think she might be. Because the reality is that the Luke's cons all fucking suck, basically. Like, there's barely a difference between C0 and C6 Diluc. Definitely cons help, but they don't fix his single target lock. And he doesn't get nearly the same improvement from cons that Daya does, right? Like, Daya's damage is basically multiplied by 4 from C0 to C6. Like, that's one of the strongest, or one of the largest increases in the whole game, right? Who even has more of an increase from C0 to C6? I actually don't know. Nilo? No. Farina? It's not 4 times, is it? I don't think so. Wanderer? Nilo does on her personal damage? Okay, maybe, yeah. I guess, yeah. But not if you include the bloom reactions she's triggering at C0 as part of her personal damage, which you should, right? They are part of her personal damage. That is damage that she is triggering based on her stats and her stats alone. So I don't actually think that even counts. Shan Yuan? I don't think it's 4 times. Anyways, point being, the increase between C0 and C6 for Daya is pretty big. And she probably is better than... I don't know. Maybe she's not. I don't know. What would be strongest? Which standard C6 would be the strongest? I mean, okay, it's definitely between Tifnati and Daya, right? It definitely is. Tifnati by far. I don't think you guys realize how much of a damage increase multiplying your damage by 4 is. Like, if you're doing 25k personal DPS, you're a dog shit carry. If you're doing 100k personal DPS, you're literally the best carry in the game, right? Because I remember doing calcs, even before Farina, right, with Mona, and getting that C6 Daya was somewhat similar to C1 Hu Tao in terms of output. Is C6 Tifnati better than C1 Hu Tao? He's gonna be more damage in single target, but better overall? I don't know. I don't know. In some situations, for sure. Deya's AoE as a carry is actually pretty fucking big, though. No, it's relatively big. Hmm. Because the thing with Tilnity is, like, he's gonna clear faster because once you reach that level of investment, you're speedrunning, and when you're speedrunning, front-loading your damage more is better, right? Total DPS increase from C0, 200% Deya? That seems wrong. Is that supposed to be 3 times or 2 times? Like, is it a 200% increase or increase to 200%? 3 times? Okay. Maybe the 4 times was with signature then. It might have been. It was. You're right. What's the worst C6 character? Chi-Chi? Not really close.
1, 2.
Chi-Chi's arguably the worst character at C0 and doesn't increase in power at all from C0 to C6. Including 4 stars? I said what I said. Worst limited C6. That's a difficult question, because a lot of the... I mean, actually, no, it's not. It's probably Albedo, because Albedo doesn't gain shit from his cons, and he's already not that great to begin with. Worst C6 effect without considering other cons. I haven't done counts on all of the C6 characters. Child? Probably, yeah. Raiden C6 is pretty useless. It is actually a DPS increase if you're using Yai, and a lot of Raiden simps want to use Yai. So, maybe not. Yeah, it's also a minor DPS increase, even if you're using Sarah, that is true. Raiden's it does nothing. Raiden's ult cooldown is 18 seconds. Yai's ult cooldown is 22, Sarah's is 20. So reducing their cooldown can shorten your rotation times and therefore increase your DPS. They're not significant, but they are not useless either. Is Xiao's C4 the worst constellation in the game? I don't think so. I think I don't think it's very good. But it's the kind of stuff that, like, when it is useful, when it prevents you from dying, you don't notice it, right? It's not good, don't get me wrong. Especially because it's only below 50%, and, like, usually dangerous hits deal enough damage that they can kill you from 50%. You don't even go below 50%, but, meh. I wonder what the worst one is. It might be C1 Venti. Probably is, yeah. It probably is, yeah. Alright, Tokon's any good? They're fine. They're not good, but... like, C1 is fine. C2 is fine. C3 is fine. C4 is fine. C5 is dog shit. C6 is fine. Ugh. Who's the most useless character in general? I don't know why you guys keep coming back to this question. It's Chi-Chi. Actually, that's probably not true. Let's actually give this some real thought. Who's a character that is just actually completely useless? Chi-Chi isn't good, but for people that haven't figured out the energy system yet, and that struggle with healers that are burst reliant, she can be fine to have, just while you're learning the game, right? Like it's fine. Who is like actually horrendous all the way through for everyone? Yeah, it's gotta be Hydro MC actually. Definitely Hydro MC. Hydro MC is better than Electro MC? He's not. You know, the first clear I did on my Taiwan account was actually with Electro MC. And I wouldn't have cleared without him. Got me a bunch of overloads on Chengling, and a way to battery her before I had Bennett. The reality is that Electro MC is very good at what they do, it's just that what they do is useless. Because generally, there are units that do what Electro MC does, while also doing other things. Right? But if you don't have those units, yeah, fuck it. Give Electro MC a shot. What is Alloy good for? Alloy generates more front-loaded particles than KO or Rosaria. Sac Alloy is the most... and Diona. Sac Alloy is the most particles you can front-load. for cryo by far. It's 10 particles in half a second. So you can use her as a battery for Ayaka. Especially if you reach the sort of high investment where you actually one rotate stuff really easily, and you often can't get your burst back if you don't front load your particle generation and you just get it over time instead, like what you usually get from Kea, Rosario, or Shenhe. It's not good, but it is somewhat useful. There's a niche use case. Okay, but who actually uses Alloy for that? Realistically, no one. Because people that have been playing long enough, that have been playing since Alloy came out, if they are Ayaka mains, probably have Shenhe by now. What is the best battery for each element? That's always gonna depend on how, on like your assumptions, right? Like for example, Bennett is by far the best pyro battery, right? Like it's not even close. But that's only if he's actually on field spamming E, right? And in most teams, he's not. So generally, he isn't actually the best pyro battery. Animo, over time, I think it should be Kazuha? Kazuha or Venti? C6 Farazan? From off field, sure. But it's 2 particles every 6 seconds. Kazuha has 3 particles every 6 seconds. If you can actually swap back to him. Right, so general off-field particle generation, Farazan C6. On-field spam, I think, should be Kazuha. Or Jean. No, Jean is 2.6, right? I think Jean is 2.6. Yeah, Jean is 2.6. So it should be Kazuha. Venti for refund. Venti doesn't generate Animo energy. If you're looking for an Animo battery, he's not gonna help you with that. But yeah, so Kazuha for constant skill spam, Farazan for off-field particle generation at C6, and Sucrose for front-loaded particle generation. For Geo, should be... It technically... Ningguang should be the best Geo battery if you cast it every 6 seconds. believe it's slightly better than GOMC. Then GOMC, like they're gonna be very close. That's for like on-field skill spam. And for Ning, you're gonna have to be careful because you have to manually count your particle ICD 6 seconds every like between each skill. For front-loaded, probably Navia, because you can use 2 E's, right? I'm guessing. I would expect. And then for particle generation over time, it's probably Albedo. I think Albedo's more energy than Chiori, but I'm not sure. Please stop that. For Electro, obviously, Fischl is, pretty good. But I don't know if it's better than Raiden. I think it's similar to Raiden. Yeah. Fischl and Raiden are very similar.
I created another universe and founded paradise. For I, Fischl, and the Prinzessin de
Alright, the thing about Fischl is she generates the energy no matter what. Whereas with Raiden, you have to actually be hitting off cooldown for it to generate the energy. So, generally, in practice, Fischl will generate a bit more. Without accounting for the energy refund from Raiden, right? For on-field, I think it's Beto if you can parry off cooldown. Otherwise, it's probably Razor skill spam.
I created another universe and founded paradise.
And for front-loaded generation,
Fischl and the Prinzessin.
is Lisa 5 particles? It is, right? But you can't realistically do... Like, Lisa's particle generation isn't front-loaded because her E takes 83 seconds to cast. Right? So, yeah, no. Pre-nerf C1 Lisa. That's Jover. Dendro! Best off-field is gonna be Nahida, of course. Best front-loaded? I don't know. I don't know if anyone produces 4 particles. DMC, no. DMC is, like, not bad. I think without a sack weapon, Nahida is also your best front-loaded option. But with sack, you can probably do Kole, or, I mean, anyone else, really, but, yeah. And then on-field skill spam. Kirara, maybe? Kirara short holds, perhaps? It might just be Nahida again, honestly. Nahida's particle generation is just a lot better than the other Dendros. Whatever. Hydro! Front-loaded is obviously Saxing Toe. It goes hard. Um, on-field skill spam. Probably Elon. Realistically, Neuvillette, because you're getting HP particles from his charge attack. And his particle generation isn't that much worse than Elon's. And then off-field, technically Farina. But I don't think Farina actually generates more particles over a rotation than Singso, because he just front loads so many if you're using him with Sock. So yeah. Pyro? On-field skill spam, Bennett, obviously, not even close.
Where did that come
Off-field particle generation? Dude, no one. No one is very good at it. It's Shangling.
Adventure team,
Like,
assemble!
technically it's Shangling, I think.
Oh.
4 particles per 12 seconds.
Or not.
It just is. And then front-loaded particle generation.
Where did that come from?
Is it Lenny? Klee? Oh yeah, it's Klee for sure. Yeah, double E Klee for sure. You're right. Oh yeah, it could also be Amber. But that's kind of... That's kind of fake. Like, Amber's kind of fake. It kind of is. It's kind of fake. But technically, yeah, Amber is probably better front load than Klee. Man. And then Cryo. Front load Alloy. Skill spam on field. If the enemy is frozen, Kea. By a very significant margin. And then... What was the last one? Off-field generation? There's no such thing, right? Off-field particle generation isn't real. Chi-Chi, true. Oh yeah, Lila exists! You're right, I forgot about Lila. Because she's not real particle generation, but yeah. Yeah, it would be Lila. For sure. Ganyu's E doesn't count as off-field particle generation. That's not... It kind of does, I guess, honestly. Sure, whatever. Whatever. Anyways, Kaya solos your fav anyways, so like, yeah. Like, freeze Kaya, just, oof. Oh, so much energy. What is that? 4.5 particles on average every 6 seconds? Oh, goodness. Huge. Massive. Pog. Insane, true. Insane indeed. I don't want to go do this, chat. I know it's gonna disappoint the fuck out of me. Are you going for Arlecchino now? Brother, I already have all of her books pre-farmed. Why are you asking, why are you phrasing this question as if I wasn't going for Arlecchino before? Explain this to me.
The secrets of the mechanical arts are too profound to convey in a few simple words. Oh, but why?
How do the new changes feel? They feel great. When I playtested her, it was amazing. True. I don't know how they feel, man. They look nice. Alright, chat. I think it might be it for the day. I did yap for Arlecchino for 3 hours, like I promised in the title. Very true. Tomorrow, maybe the return of Questjef. Actually, no. Tomorrow we'll have actual confirmation. Probably, hopefully. We'll have actual confirmation on the changes and how they work. So let us cross our fingers. Will you do a April 1st Murata kit? I don't know, because I haven't done it yet, and there's only like a week left, so I'm not sure.
Tea parties
I'll think about it.
for the well-mannered. If you'd like to learn the proper etiquette, I'd be happy to teach you.
Alright. We can raid Arnold. Everyone go say hi. I believe Arnold's stream is leak free, so please don't be a dick. Thank you very much. Go say hi, smile, and yeah.